Take too long for it to upload to YouTube. I'm not giving 20 seconds. Look, what do you know? Thanks, timer, for lying to me. No rain in sight either. Oh, there it is. I'll just double check something. Okay, the audio is working as it should be. The stream's up, the chat's up. So, hello and welcome everyone to round 4 of the PlayStation Pacific Elite Series here on Race Spec Esports. We're back, and this time at Circuit Zandvoort, the home of the Dutch Grand Prix. The 4.26 kilometer, apparently 14 turn racetrack was opened in 1948 and was a non-championship round in the very first Formula One season back in 1950. I say 14 turn circuit because I believe for about 2 games now that it was a 15 turn circuit. But apparently that little left-hand kink after turn 1, yeah, that isn't a corner according to the official track map. Turn 2 is the right-hander after turn 1. We'll see if I can't catch a sneaky onboard here. So this is turn 2. That little left-hand kink, that's not turn 2. This is turn 3, according to the official track map. Apparently. I don't know what to say about that. But anyway, that's official track maps for you. Now, the circuit would host Grand Prix racing up until 1985. The track would then fall into a 35-year hiatus from Formula One. The 2020 season promised a return of this classic circuit, but unfortunately the global pandemic put a stop to that. This year, though, in 2021, we finally got to see Grand Prix racing return to the Netherlands and give the locals another place to cheer on their hero, Max Verstappen. The circuit itself is almost identical to the one used back in the 1980s, except for 2 things: the bank corners of turn 3 and 14. These turns add quite a bit of spice to what is already a spicy racetrack. Drivers can lose control quite easily due to the high-speed, edge-of-grip nature of the turns. The circuit is narrow and tough to pass, with the primary overtaking opportunity into the first turn, Tarzan corner, with the assistance of DRS, and that is an AlphaTauri off the road. That was the Stone Tower, getting out of the way of everybody on a flying lap. Right. So yes, the primary overtaking opportunity is into the turn 1, Tarzan corner, with the assistance of DRS. This makes qualifying that much more important. So expect drivers to push right to the limit as they go for pole position during this qualifying session. Now, a little bit of news from the last race, as somebody's off just after turn 9. That was Izzat, I believe, as Smoke Grass has jumped to the top of the table. There were no major stewards reports from the last race, so the results stand as they are, meaning Oz Formula is currently leading the championship on 92 points, followed by iContrast on 66 points. He's 26 behind. Plebs is in P3, ACW P4, Hillez P5. Alpine are currently leading the points, followed up by McLaren on 87, as both Plebs and Hillez are in the top 5 of the Drivers' Championship. It only stands to reason that McLaren are pretty high up in the Constructors. Aston Martin are in 3rd, followed by AlphaTauri and Red Bull. That's the top 5 of the Constructors. Other than that, there's nothing major in terms of news that I haven't already said in previous streams. Of course, we had the version 1.10 update which released Portimao, the Aston Martin safety car, and probably more importantly for the drivers on track tonight, it released a performance update so the cars produce less downforce. Around a track like this here at Zandvoort, according to the drivers, they're losing about a second a lap compared to the previous version of the game before the patch. So, and what I've noticed as well is that You have to muck around with the set-off of the car, particularly with the tyre pressures, as the stone tail almost loses it there at turn 13. Tyre pressures is definitely something that they've mucked around with. There were several racetracks where you could get away with running with maximum pressures, as that is Hillers off the circuit there, just before turn 9, I believe, and spinning. Lovely pirouette there. 10 out of 10 for style, right there. But yeah, tyre pressures have been changed quite a bit. You have to be very careful not to run max pressures at several racetracks. This is definitely one of them. I did a career mode race around here, and I used to have a setup that had maximum pressures. The tyres overheated like crazy. So drivers have to be quite mindful of that. As Oz Formula, the championship leader, makes a mistake at turn 3. Gets it going again though. As I said, quite a spicy circuit. Several areas around this place where you can make mistakes and ruin your race. Turn 3, the bank corner of turn 14. And that's a Haas off the racetrack. That's BPV8, who is currently second. He goes off the circuit. And also the high-speed right-hander of turn 7. It's been the scene of many, many accidents. That's the corner that begins the second sector. Well, we're right on board here with Plevs to give you a guided tour of the racetrack, heading down towards turn 1, Tarzan corner. You'll get on the brakes at the 50 board, bring it down to second gear, short shift to third to maximize traction. Through this little left-hand kink into turn 2, then into the banked hairpin of turn 3. It's a nice exit out of there. Through turn 4, then turn 5, then into 6 and 7. You have to be very careful with turn 7. Very difficult corner to get right as it's completely blind on entry. Through turn 8. Into the hairpin of turn 9, a potential overtaking spot on the circuit, though you have to be very, very committed in order to make moves there. Through turn 10, goes on to the second DRS zone, heading towards turn 11, a potential overtaking opportunity. Through turn 12, very tight, twisty section this one, gets the power down nicely on the exit. Through 13, the penultimate corner, then into the banked right-hander of 14. Right to the limit. Very nice and tidy there from Plebs. He'll cross the line to set a 1 minute 11.166. Fifth fastest overall. Not a bad lap there. Now everyone appears to be qualifying on the soft tyres. The ideal strategy around here is a soft-medium strategy, as Oz Formula puts in an absolute stonker of a lap time. A 1 minute 10.7 on the medium compound tyre. Currently on the front row. That is a quick lap time. Is that your... Ah, I see. You're starting the second sector. ACW, where are you? You're about to start the third sector. We might keep an eye on you. You're currently on pole position with a 110.6. See if you can improve. You can see there's plenty of drama going on around the circuit. The cars are closely bunched together like they were in real life. That was a bit of a messy penultimate corner, taking a very high line around the final bank curve. Catapults himself down the pit straight towards turn 1. Slams on the brakes, brings it down to second gear, gently on the throttle. Nice exit out of turn 1, into turn 2, then 3, brings it down to second. Fourth gear to maximize traction as Keeg Dog is out of qualifying, crashing out at just after turn 10. Let's see here. See if we can't catch his car. There he is there. So he lost it at turn 9 and put it into the barrier on the outside of turn 10. Very unfortunate. I have to say, I don't think I've ever seen someone spin it in that spot before. Not from memory anyway. ACW, he's a little bit up on his current personal best. See if he can nail this final sector. Oh, very wide. That's not nailing it. He's put it into the wall. Fortunately, he's not out of qualifying, and there's an Aston Martin on its way. It's Zach. Oh, he won't be too impressed with that. Oh, yeah. He definitely won't be impressed with that. He was on an out lap, getting ready to start a flying lap, and ACW was right in the middle of the road. Deary me. BPV8. Very solid qualifying right now. 10-7. Currently P3. Is that Kush. One of the quicker drivers in the tier. That is a Haas off the racetrack. That's BPV8 just after I complimented him. Oh dear. Round turn 3. Very nice through there. Through the high speed S's in the first sector now. Keeps it pinned. Round turn 7. Purple to the first sector. Oh, but a lot of understeer through turn 7 as Zach has crashed out. There he is there. He spun out the exit of turn 10. And he's gone into the wall. A similar retirement to Keeg, but a few moments ago. Is that... Have you backed off? No, you're pushing. Up by 1/10.5. Needs to improve by 2/10 in order to overtake ACW at the top of the table. Around the final bank curve, turn 14, opens DRS, down the pit straight, crosses the line, jumps to 4th place. Improves by just over 1/10 of a second. 1 minute 10.749. You can see how incredibly close it is. I'll change it to gap to leader. It's 1 second separating the top 11 cars at the moment, and there's 1/10 of a second separating the top 4. Yeah, it's pretty close right now in qualifying. It's good to see. BPV8 up in the first sector. What does sector 2 say for the Haas driver? Up by 2/10 through the tight complex of turns 11 and 12. Through 13, modulating the brake and throttle at the same time. I saw that. Opens DRS. Up to the line, BP jumps to pole position with a 1:10.465, overtaking ACW. Is that you're going back into the pits? Plebs, you've improved. Stay P7, I believe. Smoke Grasso about to set a flying lap. I believe the Rock is in on a flying lap. Through the high speed second sector where the AI in this game have a tremendous advantage in single player career modes. We're coming up to the second sector split. Has improved by 2.5, or rather 2 3/4 tenths of a second. 2 corners left on the racetrack. 2 very tricky corners of 13 and 14. Takes them very nicely though. Exits the final turn, opens DRS up to the finish line. Rock improves to a 12 flat, and that is a Red Bull off the circuit. That's Smoke Grass making a mistake at turn 9. Roscoe yet to set a flying lap. Still yet to set a flying lap. He ducks into pit lane. Just got under 4 minutes left in this qualifying session. So drivers are running out of time. ACW though. I see what he's doing. He's doing 2 out laps effectively. He's not going to push here on this flying lap. He's just trying to get rid of fuel. Try and reduce the weight of his car as much as he can before setting out on his proper flying lap. Is that Whereabouts are you? Eye contrast. Ah, turn 12. Leo, you're at turn 11, so we'll look at you. Eye contrast. Currently P5, second in the Drivers' Championship. See how the YouTube sensation fares around this notorious circuit. Heading down towards turn 1 in 8th gear at 313 kilometers an hour. So down to about 307. Brings it down to about 117 at turn 1. Exiting turn 3. Through 4 and 5 now. This completes the first sector. And the first sector split says up by 0.02 of a second. Exiting turn 7 towards the sharp right of turn 8. Very nice through there. Around turn 9, third gear, modulating the throttle. You have to be careful of the curbs around this section. They're quite tall. You touch them, you will spin the car. Down towards 11 and 12. Sector 2 says up by 0.2 of a second. That's a big improvement. Can he find any more time in this fight? Pump. Keith's teammate, bringing out a yellow flag there in the second sector. Around the final turn comes Eye Contrast. Opens DRS. Comes up to the finish line. Jumps to second place with a 1 minute 10.609. And ACW has lost it just after turn 3. The Rock has retired in the pit lane. And Isaac Kush has crashed out. Whole heap of drama. We didn't get to see Isaac's car. But Isaac crashed about here somewhere. Probably did a similar thing to what Zach did earlier. Nick, I believe you're on a flying lap. Or either on a flying lap or on an in lap. Judging by the way you're pushing, you might be on an in lap. Okay. That answers that question. Lev's getting ready. ACW getting ready. Set his final flying lap. Oh, and that might have been the end of his session. He's invalidated at the second last turn. I don't think he'll be given... He isn't given it. Oh, no. So, because he invalidated at that particular corner, the game has come up with the prompt that your current lap is invalidated and your next lap is invalidated. So ACW cannot challenge for pole position. What about our current pole sitter, BPV8? He was up in the first sector. Oh, very wide there. Through turn 8, through turn 9 now. His teammate has just spun. That was Roscoe Arm, and he'll be starting from the back of the field. Stonetail jumping up to 17th there. BP Purple to the second sector. I believe Eye Contrast is on a second flying lap as well. Up in the first sector is Eye Contrast. It's going to be a battle between these two. And BP will not improve, not with that mistake. He opens DRS. He won't improve his time. That was a huge error at the penultimate corner. Can Eye Contrast snag pole position right at the death of qualifying? Sector 2 says up by 1/10.5. With that sort of improvement, he can go for pole position. But he needs to nail this final sector. Roscoe Arm getting out of the way. He doesn't want any involvement in this through the penultimate corner. One corner left. The bank curve of 14. He opens DRS. Is it pole position for Eye Contrast? Yes, it is. By the slimmest of margins. By 0.03 of a second. Eye Contrast on pole position. And there we are. That is it. The end of qualifying. There we go. Eye Contrast on pole. 1 minute 10.436. Beating a 1 minute 10.465. Very, very close margins here at Zandvoort. ACW will start from P3. Oz Formula on the mediums, no less, will start P4. Then Isaac Kush, Plevs, F1 Ferrari Pro. Pump, Leo P9. He did that time on the mediums. So he'll start in the top 10 on the medium tyre. Then G-Force Zach, after crashing out during quali, will start P10. We got Nick in P11, Hillez P12, Smokegrass, The Rock, Keeg, Anthro, The Stone Towel, Parasite, and then Roscoe will start from the back of the field in 19th place. There we go. Tight margins at the top. 29 thousandths of a second. There we are. I believe that's Contrast's first pole of the season. I'm pretty sure it's his first pole. There we are. You can see there, everyone except for Oz Formula and Leo will be starting on the soft compound tyre. Now, I hazard a guess that this is going to be pretty much a completely dry race. Based off the fact that we got two drivers starting on the mediums, if there is going to be any wet weather involvement, it's going to come late on. So I'm expecting a dry race for this one here at Zandvoort. No, it's always a good qualifying here. It's a tough racetrack. It's a bit like Monaco in many ways, where the qualifying is the spectacle of this sort of race session. And because of the track's length being quite short, typically qualifying is quite tight, as it demonstrated tonight. Overcast conditions here, but again, with drivers starting on the mediums, probably won't see any wet weather. It'll be interesting to see what the drivers do outside the top 10. Said that the recommended strategy is either a soft medium or a medium soft. The hard tyre, I feel, isn't a very viable tyre to go with. It does last an awfully long time, so if you get into trouble early on, then chuck on the hard tyre and try and go to the end. But yeah, it just doesn't have any sort of pace compared to the medium tyre. And the medium tyre can last a fairly long time around here as well, about 24, 25 laps or so. Can last a while. Drivers setting off on their formation lap. See what the drivers are doing outside the 10. So we know I contrast Leo rather, starting on the mediums. We got Nick in P11 starting on the medium tyre as well. And Hillez P12 on the mediums. Smokegrass P13 on soft tyres. And The Rock on mediums, Keeg on softs. Anthro on hards. I don't know about that decision. We'll see if it works out for them. The Stone Towel P17 on the mediums. Parasite P18 on the softs. Roscoe at the back of the field starting on the medium tyre. For these soft runners, they need to be quite aggressive. Try and make moves early on. Try and catch up to the top 10. For the medium runners and Anthro as well, they need to try and stay out of trouble, but also try and keep up with the soft runners so then they can maximise their medium tyre, or in Anthro's case, their hard tyre stint. And that is the Stone Towel doing a bit of rallycross there. Playing around in the gravel, I failed to notice. Right. We'll get rid of the tyre detail and we'll get rid of the interval for the start of the race. Just so then we can increase the viewing space. Because the leaderboard do be massive. Leaders making their way to their grid slots. Just be waiting on the Stone Towel to line up into his and we can get this race underway. ...19 cars, a healthy field. And And we know that with this increased field size, there's an increased chance for safety cars. Maybe we'll get to see that lovely looking Aston Martin safety car that was recently introduced into the game. But everyone's lined up and ready to race here at Circuit Zandvoort. We've got 5 red lights. And it's lights out. And away we go. Contrast converts well off the line. So does BPV8. But it will be I Contrast who will lead the field into turn 1. No, the Haas sends it down the inside. They're side by side on the exit, heading towards turn 2. But Contrast hangs on to the lead. Oh, looking round the outside, the AlphaTauri. He needs to be committed on the exit. He is. They're side by side, heading through the S's. Towards 6 and 7. No, he had to back out of that one. Can't go side by side through there. The midfield making their way through turn 7. Doing a pretty good job. Ferrari Pro looking around the outside of Plevs, I believe. Or is it Hilles? No, it is Plevs. Got it right the first time. Around turn 10 we go. Still bunching up, but a very, very good start. I have to say, people are behaving very nicely. Down the inside, Zach looks. They're side by side through turn 12. Zach gets the traction down, and he moves past Leo into P9. And the Williams not giving up. He looks down the inside into the bank curve of turn 14. Zach slots in behind, and he attacks, looking down the inside. Into turn 1 we go. Leo very committed on the outside, outbrakes himself a little bit. They're still side by side. Around turn 2. Oh, Zach had to pull out of that. Oh, running wide though, Leo. It should get a fairly nice exit with that high line. What a great start. But there is a bit of a gap here forming as Power Sight losing ground to Smokegrass. He's got a big group of cars behind with Hilles, Roscoe, The Rock. There's the Stone Tower just in the background. Anthro has fallen down to 19th. Those hard tyres won't feel great. Whoa, that was close between those two, and Hilles loses a position. And that is Anthro mowing the grass there on the inside of turn 11. Turn 10. Turn 10. Still have to get used to that little left-hand kink after turn 1. That's not turn 2. It's just a kink, according to the official track map. So this is turn 1, right? This isn't turn 2. This is turn 2. It makes no sense, but track maps do be like that, as the Stone Towel retires in the pit lane. He's had enough immediately. And BPV8 is on the attack. They're side by side. Round turn 6 into 7. Contrast hangs on, but that was aggressive there from BP. Caught I Contrast napping. Around the hairpin of turn 9. And into turn 10. BP has got a lot of pace. He is attacking. Not just sitting behind waiting, he's going for it. Around turn 13 into 14. I reckon BP might have a go here. He's using up his battery through the bank curve. He'll open DRS and close in. Look to the inside, and I Contrast doesn't fight. Pleb sets fastest lap with a 13.6, and BP moves into the lead at the start of lap 4. Boss Formula doing a terrific job on those mediums. Demonstrating he's got a lot of pace. Oh, he almost threw it all away there at the exit of turn 3. Is that into the pit lane? Set of medium tyres, perhaps a wing change too. So Isaac got into a bit of trouble. Now down in 18th place. And look at BP pull away. The Haas has got terrific speed. ACW and Oz Formula in pursuit of high contrast. Plevs not too far behind. Same with Ferrari Pro and Pump in P7. There's a gap forming between Smokegrass and Roscoe. That was due to Power Sight being quite the roadblock. And here comes Oz Formula. Down the inside into one. They're side by side. Oz Formula gets the position into P3. ACW doing his best to hang on. Plevs just waiting back, waiting in the wings. Oh, what's going on back here? Hello. Look at this. A group of 3 cars. All side by side. This could be nasty. Unfortunately, they get themselves sorted. Ooh, Hillhead's very wide there at turn 7. Through turn 8. These 3 battling for the final point scoring places. Remember, the top 15 score points as the Rock has a moment. And here comes the McLaren with momentum, looking down the inside. They're still side by side. Contact even. More contact. And through goes Hillez into P15. Zach might be a bit of a sitting duck here. Williams closing in. Not quite. Zach hangs on to P8 for now. Really needs to try and get a move on, try and close the gap to Pump. That'll be a very tough thing to do. But he needs to try. Hillez, Power Sight, side by side. Hillez through into P14. He's got a lot of work to do to close the gap up to Roscoe Arm, who in turn has got a lot of work to do to close the gap up to Smokegrass. Nice long DRS trains forming. We might just have a position change. Just a moment. Here comes Oz Formula. Uses overtake, opens DRS. He's in the slipstream though, but look at that Aston Martin pulling away on the straight. Plebs down the inside into turn 1, attacking ACW for 4th. They're side by side into turn 2, and Plebs is through. Ferrari Pro. Oh, a bit of a moment there. But he wants to get a move on too. We could probably bring up the intervals now. The Rock in the pit lane. So he might have got damage at some point. Ferrari Pro attacking ACW. He's got good speed. Does he look to the inside here? No, he doesn't. Around 13. If he can get a good run here, he might be able to have a go. It's not bad. Using up his battery. He doesn't have a lot left, but he's going to attack. Doesn't go for the big send. Ooh, dearie me, that was a lag spot. Bit nerve-wracking that was. Top 3 closing up. Let's see as well. Doing a great job on the medium tyre is Oz Formula. Maintaining his position on the track, and that's Hillez out of the session. Crashing. Ooh, that is a weird place to crash. On the inside of turn 3. I wonder if he was helped. And Leo's out. Crashing out after turn 8, and a safety car has been deployed. So 2 retirements within 1 lap That brings out the safety car. Now for the soft runners, I reckon they have to pit. This is just before their pit window. Their pit window is about, I want to say, lap 10 or so. So they're going to pit to go onto the medium tyre, I would think. Here comes BP. By contrast coming in, Oz Formula has to stay out. Oh, and Ferrari Pro does the same. He stays out too. But does BP go onto the medium tyre? By contrast, it's the hard. Same with Plebs. Pump. It's a set of mediums. Out he goes. In comes his teammate. Set of mediums at the ready. And on they go. So a couple of drivers staying out, but the majority of the field coming in. Powersight slowing to a crawl there while entering the pits. Anthro stays out. How unfortunate for Gilles and Leo. Crashing on the same lap. Very unfortunate. A couple of drivers on softs. Roscoe Arm, Parasite. This has saved Izzat and The Rock as well. Saved their races. They were a long, long way behind. So they'll be able to close up to the back of the train. Try and make up some positions. The 4 drivers, rather 5 drivers staying out. Oz Formula, Ferrari Pro, Nick, Smokegrass, and down in 11th place is Anthro on the hard tyres he started on. Gilles has left the session. Right, yeah. So I don't know about those drivers on the hard tyre. I don't think that's the right tyre to be on. I've seen drivers make soft medium work here. Just that medium tyre is quite a bit quicker than the hard tyre for about, I want to say, 14 to 15 laps. After that point though, the mediums and the hards do even out. Then after about 4 or 5 laps, I want to say, yeah, about 4 or 5 laps. Then the hard tyre becomes a better tyre just because it's in way better condition and still has grip compared to the mediums. But I don't know. I don't think going onto the hard tyre is the right choice. For Contrast and Plebs, they got 2 jobs. They can't let BP run away on fresh mediums. They probably can't let ACW pass them either. The longer they keep ACW and Pump behind, the better off they'll be. It's a very interesting scenario because we've got a few different strategies going on here. Safety car is in this lap. Oz Formula will control the field and, you know, new safety car and all that kind of stuff. New Aston Martin safety car. Looks nice. It's good to see British racing green. Some more British racing green. So for the top 4 and Anthro in 11th, they have to make another pit stop at some point. So they're effectively a pit stop behind everybody. Oz Formula takes off. A nice restart for him. Ferrari Pro follows suit. He's got Nick right on his tail, looking left and right to try and pass the Ferrari. Levs and ACW side by side as ACW has got a terrific restart and ACW is through into 7th. Oh, and Plebs spins! They make contact! Plebs and ACW make contact at turn 2 and Plebs falls to 16th. Oh, hello. Anthro, Roscoe on Anthro into the barrier, big time, and he's out. He lost control of the car and becomes retirement number 4. BP has restarted well too. He's up into 4th place, overtaking Smokegrass. He needs to try and overtake these drivers on old tyres as soon as possible. He doesn't want to waste time behind them. Because some drivers making moves and some drivers losing out big time. And this restart lap here at Zandvoort. Leaders begin lap 12 of 36. We're at the 1/3 mark. ACW looking. Can't make any moves stick just yet. Smokegrass is applying pressure. Keeg and the Rock battling for position down in 13th. Whoa, 2 by 2 they go through turn 3. And attacking is ACW. He got so much traction on the high line, he's alongside the Aston. Oh, and a big wiggle. I think, and BP's had to slow down dramatically. Why? What's happened to BP? Oh, he's got front end plate damage. You can see he's missing an end plate on the left-hand side. He'll have to pit in and get that fixed. Now he's a roadblock for all the drivers trying to pass him. That's why everybody checked up. But that has ruined BP's race. Another victim of the safety car restart. DRS is now enabled. ACW is on the attack. Looking to the inside. He outbrakes his rival. By contrast, remains committed around the outside and hangs on to P5. Roscoe Arm and Zach battling for position. And again, ACW looking on the high line to try and find a way past. He's got a hell of a run, but he has nowhere to go. Great scrap here. Is that trying to get by Zach here for P9? Will he look down the inside here? No, he won't. It's not a bad overtaking spot, turn 9. Especially if the driver in front of you makes a mistake through turn 8. Good overtaking spot. Powersight has gotten by. Keegan Plevs battling for position as they head towards turn 11. Plevs round the outside, gets it done. Now he's trying to get by Powersight. Getting down towards turn 13. It's four-way scrap for P11. Will he have a go here on Zach? Looking to the inside into turn 1. Goes for it, gets it done. There's a big moment. Smokegrass, ACW, both of them having an incident at turn 1. They tumble down through the order. You saw there on the leaderboard, it all went a bit haywire. People jumping up, jumping down. And Smokegrass and ACW. ACW, a big tank slapper at the exit of turn 3. He's got the Rock right on his gearbox. And ACW has to be careful. Those medium tyres would be a bit cooked after spinning like that. Ooh, bit of a bad run there through turn 8. Let's can't get by the Ferrari just yet. Ooh, I'd say just yet. He's going to have a go here, I reckon. He's got a run using overtake. Looks to the inside. Commits to it too. They make contact. The Rock almost pushed off the road there. Side by side, heading towards 13. And through goes Plebs into P11. Oh, and spinning big time into the barrier. Powersight. How are you not out of the session? That was a tremendously big crash. How did you not retire from the race? That was huge. Well, the Codemasters gaming gods have decided that Powersight, he should keep racing after that sort of crash. There you go. Was Formula and Ferrari Pro. Pulling away out in front in the clear air. Doing a great job. By contrast, still hanging on to P4. He's got Pump and Roscoe Arm on the attack. Haas driver being aggressive on the soft tyre. Needs to be, really, if he wants to make it work. Round 13. Here we go. Around the final corner. Opens DRS, sits in the slipstream and not close enough, I'm afraid. Izzat is in this battle too. To think, Izzat was 18th at the beginning of the race. Now P7. Big winner from the safety car coming out. BP sets fastest lap, shows the pace he's got. He's a fair way behind the field now after getting damaged. Right, a very nice battle here. They go through turn 10. Moscow Army looking racy, trying to get by. Can Pump have a go? They're closing in on Nick in third place too. I reckon Contrast might get DRS. He does, as Nick pulls into pit lane. And gets a 5-second penalty as well. Ouch. Goes on to the hard tyre. I suppose the softs won't make it from here, so... Through the S's. Round turn 7. Contrast should have a small advantage here. He's driving in relatively clean air. Drivers behind, stuck in dirty air. Struggling to follow. The Rock, a 3-second time penalty, multiple warnings, as he goes off the circuit completely. It's going again, but he's in 11th now. Very tight racing here around the final curve. Pump surely would have a go now. In the slipstream, looks to the inside. Contrast fights around the outside though at turn 1. They're side by side on the exit, heading towards turn 2. High Contrast hangs on. Great bit of driving there, and that's Rock. Crashing out again at the final corner. Oh, you have to be careful though. Oh, he bonks the wall. He'll go into pit lane. Get his front wing fixed. Battle's still going on here. High Contrast still hanging on to third, doing a great job. Through turn 12. Again, Pump is close. Can he make it work this lap? It's a decent run. Sitting in the slipstream. Opens DRS, uses overtake. Here we go. Down the inside. Into turn 1 we go. High Contrast round the outside. They're side by side on. Just putting the car in the right place. Getting the traction down onto the road and hanging on. Something different.